Hey guys, Josh here, and we're back. See what I did there? We're back, and it's another back day video. I thought it was funny. Anyways, if you watched our last gym video, then you probably have a good idea of what today is. We're gonna dive into the remainder of the muscles on our back. These include the rotator cuff, which can be argued to be part of your shoulder health, but regardless, understanding the function and structures of your rotator cuff muscles is absolutely mandatory if you want to keep lifting at the gym. In addition to your rotator cuff, we have our rhomboids, our upper and lower traps. As usual, we're going to dive into the anatomy of each of these structures, learn what exercises are best for an efficient workout, as well as look at some of the do's and don'ts that I see all the time in the gym. So let's get started. Finishing up our back day at the gym, we need to look at the most neglected muscles. Everybody wants to deadlift 405 pounds or rep out 315 on the bench, but rarely will you ever see someone doing their I flies or T flies with 8-pound dumbbells. It's this reason why so many individuals at the gym have issues down the road in their shoulders, their lower back, because strengthening their stabilizers is beyond important. We're starting with the rotator cuff, which is composed of 4 muscles, often referred to as the S.I.T.S muscles, S-I.T.S. This is an acronym for the Supraspinatus, the Infraspinatus, the Teres Minor, and the Subscapularis. Now, 3 of the 4 muscles control external rotation. So anytime you're externally rotating your arms, that's going to be the S, I, and T of the S.I.T.S. Now the last letter, the last S, the subscapularis, that controls internal rotation. Most people have a much stronger internal rotation or subscap and really don't need to be strengthening it. Looking at the anatomy, if you reach back behind and touch your shoulder blade, you'll feel a bone right here. And that is the spine of your shoulder blade or your scapula. Above it, there is the supraspinatus. Below it is the infraspinatus, and below the infraspinatus is your teres minor. And again, these all control external rotation of the arm. Now, my favorite exercise to work these is simply grab a resistance band. You can have one like this, or you can tie one against a door frame or something secure, and you want to, again, work on external rotation with resistance. Now, a lot of times at the gym, I'll see someone taking a dumbbell and doing external rotation, and that's fine if you want to warm up your shoulders, but the majority of the resistance is on your biceps as you're holding the dumbbell and externally rotating it. There's not much resistance on your S.I.T muscles. So make sure that you have either a resistance band that you can have resistance as you externally rotate, or something that you can tie against a secure door frame or post or something like that. Moving on, we have our rhomboids, and unfortunately you can't see them looking at a back because they're underneath of the traps. However, developing them is really important. Not only does it give you a fuller and thicker looking back, but they help control and stabilize your shoulder blade. Their function is basically to bring your shoulders closer to the spine, as well as some downward rotation of your shoulder blade. Now, we know when it comes to working muscles, we want to perform exercises that have the muscles do their function under weight. My favorite exercise for the rhomboids, if you want to hit them directly, is a T-fly with your thumbs facing down. So you would get on a bench and you would have your thumbs face down with, if you're just getting started, you really don't need any weights. I'll use 8, maybe 12-pound dumbbells, but you're going to get on an incline and come back with your thumbs facing down and really focus on squeezing the shoulder blades as you come back. Because with your thumb facing down, it changes the orientation of your shoulder blade, which helps align it with the muscle fibers of your rhomboids. The other way to really directly or indirectly hit your rhomboids is anytime you're doing a back exercise, focus on scapular retraction before you do your row. For example, if we're doing a cable dumbbell row, you want to retract your shoulder blades and then do your row out, come in, do your row, and that is a great indirect way to hit your rhomboids. Lastly, we have our upper and our lower traps. These are pretty straightforward. Your upper traps are the ones that everyone knows and sees. They're the turtle-looking muscles right up here. And these are mainly responsible for shoulder elevation. The big issue with these is people work them wrong. The muscle fibers don't run up and down, yet people constantly do shrugs like this. The fibers actually run at an incline angle. And because of this, we want to perform an exercise that follow the muscle fibers. So personally, one of my favorite barbell shrug exercises for the upper traps is to have a nice wide grip, so that when you do your shrugs with the barbell, you're actually following the orientation of the fibers. Another example you can do is attach a cable to a pulley system with an arm or a hand grip, and you can do shrugs this way. Now, the lower trap is responsible for depressing the shoulder, meaning elevation, depression. So your lower traps are responsible for bringing the shoulders down. Most people don't hit the lower trap at all. The fibers run at an upward, almost awkward angle. So one of the best ways to hit your lower traps is a Y-fly. And again, to do a Y-fly, you're gonna lie on an inclined bench and you're gonna need almost no weight. Again, 5, maybe 10 pounds. And what you're gonna do is you can go palms or thumbs face up, and you go straight up here and back down. And if you wanna do these at home without any weight, you can go open palms, just bend over. You don't even need a bench, but you can bend over, put up like you're flying like Superman, come down, go straight back up. Make sure and keep your shoulder blades pinched, bring them down, straight back up. And what this is gonna do is, again, help stabilize your shoulder. And as we know, instability leads to injury. So the more you have your shoulder and scapula stabilized, the less likely you're gonna get injured. Now that we've covered our back, let's look at some of the most common do's and don'ts that I see during back day at the gym. The first don't of the gym is one of those exercises that when I see it, it will stop me mid-workout to go over to the person and save their shoulders. And it's behind the neck pull downs. So often at the gym, you'll see people doing their lat pull downs on their back day, their heads forward and they're coming down with the bar way back behind their head. And the reason why this is a terrible decision for the average person is because this position, the external rotation in your shoulders like this, is one of the most unstable positions that your shoulder can be in. And the last thing you want to do is put your shoulder in a risky situation and then put it under strain and stress. Now, the caveat is if you have great shoulder mobility and shoulder strength and stabilization, then behind the neck exercises aren't terrible, but studies show that there's almost no difference in lat or teres major muscle activation between lat pull downs in front of you and lat pull downs behind your neck. So the risk to reward ratio just isn't worth it. So all in all, don't do behind the neck lat pull downs, do lat pull downs in front of you. For our second and third do and don't, they both have to do with internal rotation of our shoulders. The first one is the lat extension. From our last back day video, we know that lat extensions are probably the single best exercise for our lats, as those muscles are responsible for an extension and adduction. So I'll show you what a poor lat extension looks like with internal rotation. So you get set up and you come down, your shoulders are internally rotated. Now why this is bad is your secondary muscles that control the retraction and depression of your shoulders aren't being used at all. And we just talked about that our rhomboids are responsible for shoulder retraction, and then our lower traps are responsible for depressing the shoulders. So by having internal rotation of the shoulders, our rhomboids and our traps aren't being used at all, and that's just dumb and inefficient. So what we want to do is get in position, we want to depress the shoulder blades and then retract them and then do our lat extensions. And this way we're getting rhomboid activation as well as trap activation. And that leads us into our third do and don't, which is the same concept but with rows. So I'll get some rows set up and show you what poor form looks like real quick. lower this guy down to about here. So same thing, internal rotation of the shoulders. We have no trap activation and we have no rhomboid activation. So what we want to do is retract our shoulder blades and depress them. That way our rhomboids and our traps are being used, and we're getting efficient workout by hitting not only the primary muscles, but the secondary muscles as well. And that's it for the do's and don'ts for back day at the gym. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you found the video helpful or have any questions, please leave a comment below. Hope you all have a joy-filled, blessed week, and we'll see you next time. Take care. My inability to wink.
Go.
Not having a seizure, I'm just trying to wink. Hey guys, Josh here, and I am super excited because it is 6:30 a.m. on a Sunday, and this is the place you need to be. And if you can't tell, this is my skin, not this.
That'll help yourself.
Yeah, this will help my skin.